2 years ago, she was harassing this woman over a post she made about Palestine. So, yeah, consistently awful. To do what Dasha does, you need to have a permit. And it would seem that the permit that she currently has is a massage student permit. And there's some question about whether or not you could even operate on your own with a student permit. Either way, that permit is given and can be revoked. So if you want to take that up with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation and talk to them about how she behaved, that's something you could do.
All right. It's something you can do. She was fired from what we know from her workplace. By the way, you can just bring up, there's a Facebook post. And now there's a Give, Send, Go for her. It's currently at $83,000. And I believe, did I get the name wrong? Is it Kirkpatrick or
Kilpatrick?
Kilpatrick. I apologize. Dasha Kilpatrick. There you go.
Because I need to know the political leanings of the person rubbing my back.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because remember during COVID where I just outright, if you don't get the vaccine, I hope you die. I'm going to treat you last. Yeah. Right?
We're kind. But you're being a bad Muslim then if you're kind. Because the founder is not kind. Yeah. He's not. He instructs you to not be kind to that infidel.
He instructs you to be kind to give them the most charitable interpretation, to give them the chance to convert, and then once they don't, subjugate.
I would argue that guy Tizzy Yent is a bigger piece of crap than she is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, quite.
That's all he does. That's what all that soft loser does. Is he doxes people? That's what he does for a living. He doxes people on TikTok and acts, holier than thou and so righteous. Never does it the other way. It's always one way. It's always they lean right or they said something that offends the left. So let's just ruin this person's life forever. I've tagged him a few times, by the way.
Yeah.
In some crazy Antifa stuff. Like, hey, what's the identity of this guy?
Of course.
Stole a rifle from a.
He doesn't outright call for the doxing though. He says that's something you could do.
That's something you could.
Oh, here's their address and here's where their kids go to school.
If you chose, you could go. They're a regulated industry, so you could. Revoke her license.
But you know what, though? Let's break down. Like I said, you may. And what's your opinion on this? Comment below. I would really like to see people just toss them in for the Give, Send, Go. Do you think that this is an excommunicate from society offense? Like MAPS, minor attracted persons. The left has far more tolerance for them than someone, if inarticulately communicating something that is largely accurate. Let's go through that. Now, I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Let's replay that just a short portion here, which says, "We know why you're here." What does she mean by that?
No, everybody's aware of why you're here. No. Okay, so don't think that we don't know and don't think you're going to get away with it.
Maybe she's referring to the many, 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 many imams and their followers outright saying that they are going to take over America systematically.
The future is ours. Every ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true.
We have amazing opportunities. With the freedoms we have here, we can produce think tanks, we can produce thought papers, we can produce visionaries and people to literally go back and influence the world around. And nobody is going to stop us because it's allowed, it's all legal.
So know this, that Islam will enter every house. Every house. Don't worry about the Islamophobes. They can yap all they want. Their children will be Muslim.
Allah says in the Quran exactly our role in Surah Fussilat, Surah 41. We chose the first Muslim mayor of New York City, and inshallah, rightfully so, we will choose the next governor of New York as a Muslim and next governor of any state as a Muslim. And we're not going to stop there. Next place is where, you know where it is. I don't want to mention the recording.
We are creating an American Islamic culture as we speak. We are creating an Islamic culture in America, a subculture of American Islam. And that is being negotiated right now. What is our secret weapon? Halal weapon, very halal, mashallah. Keep having babies, mashallah. We have children, they don't have children, so we're going to be having Malmo all Muslim, alhamdulillah,
They can be as mad as they want. I don't care.
We need Muslims in the government. We need Muslims working at every level. We need Muslims in the Pentagon. We need Muslims in the FBI. We really do. And yes, we even need in the CIA. We do need them. We need them. We need them because if they have an ethical compass and they can affect in a positive manner, we want that to happen.
America will be a Muslim country. Russia will be a Muslim country. Islam will enter every house.
Australia is now 7% Muslim. And in cities like Sydney and Melbourne, it's like 10-15%. In the areas like Lakemba in Sydney, it's like 60% Muslim. Mississauga is 15% Muslim. 1 out of 8 people in Mississauga is Muslim. London is 10% Muslim. England as a whole is 7% Muslim. England, UK as a London is 10%. Norway, I was there 3 months ago. Oslo, who would imagine? 10% Muslim. Vienna, almost 10% Muslim, 9%. 9% Muslims in Vienna. Paris, of the highest concentrations in the Western world, officially they say 17%, unofficially 20-25%. Potentially 1 out of 5 people in Paris is Muslim.
We actually have a hadith, and hopefully we're raising our children in this way, that each and every one of us is supposed to dream of the opportunity of engaging in jihad with the enemy.
Yeah, I guess that could mean anything. Also interesting to note that the cities that he mentions with higher Islamic concentrations, right, a portion of the population, it is almost a 1-to-1 ratio, exactly, correlates with increased sexual assault, rape, particularly with minors, human trafficking. Just to be clear, if you look at those major cities. But, you know, all cultures are equal. You can go check out the references for that montage, by the way. We make them available, link in the description. Every day we stream, weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Call us to the mat. If that doesn't drive the point home as to the leadership of Islam saying, hey, you are there to wage a physical jihad, meaning a war, or a cultural jihad, meaning use their systems, subvert them, pervert them, and outbreed them. If that montage doesn't drive it home, well, here's New York City yesterday. This is an Ashura celebration that commemorates martyrdom of the third Imam in Shia Islam. Go back to the video. That's why there's a bloody flag.
Hey, a martyr in here!
New York City!
Where's the naked cowboy when you need him? Oh, man.
No, that's probably not blood or anything.
I'll also tell you this. I reject the very premise of any Islamic holiday, period, but certainly that honors a martyr. It's not the same as first martyr, right? Thanks for naming me after that, Dad. Really decided to.
Sure. The first.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put that. Hey, what do we want to put over our son? Let's bless him with certain death.
But we didn't use that gay PH spell.
I know.
Okay.
He was straight. But he was martyred. You know, he was martyred for speaking, for telling people the good news, right? Evangelizing. Islam didn't actually have known oppressors. It wasn't like, for example, in Rome, where they were trying to quell with this uprising that they saw something could be a political problem, but it wasn't violent. Islam was spread by the sword from its inception almost exclusively. So you don't really get to claim martyrdom in the same way. In some cases, these are losses of life in a war. Oh, there you go. There's New York City. Or how about this billboard on I-30 in Dallas? See, that says, the Muslims were right.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. You can put that here. The minute we can put, we can put, like Nick DiPaolo says, a Hooters in Mecca. How about that? The minute we can put, hey, Jesus alone saves. A giant billboard in, let's say, Iran. Let's say Saudi Arabia. Let's say Qatar. Let's say Dubai. Any of the progressive Islamic countries. You know, just a big old evangelizing billboard. Jesus loves you. He is the way, the truth, and the light. Only through Christ. When that's allowed, then we allow it. Otherwise, we are going to be losing this. We are going to lose our country. We are going to lose our faith, our religion. We are going to lose our people. You cannot have something like this exchange only be one way, and that's the way it is. That billboard right there, the Muslims are right. First off, no, they're wrong. We'll get to that. But I will say this, luckily in the States, anyone can make a billboard. So...
He's pointing. He's like, yes, you in the Nissan Altima.
That's right. For people on audio, it's probably best.
Looks very dour.
Yes, he does. which is very out of character for Joe. He loves inflicting cruelty.
Yeah, it's a big passion of his.
So let's go through another portion here, too. Let's just break down what she's actually saying, because you can tell she's nervous. She's a little bit winded. I'd be nervous, too, if I was her, and a camera. And she said, you know what, I'm going for it. And I respect that. I genuinely do, whether you agree with what she said or not. Here she is in that clip laying out a couple of claims. And so that's important because we can fact check them, whether they're true or false. She lays out specific claims against Islam.
What matters is that you worship a terrorist who is a warlord, a pedophile, and Islam is a terrorist organization.
Okay, fact check on Muhammad, a terrorist, a warlord, a pedophile. True. Fact check, true. Had many. His favorite wife, Aisha, was 6. To be fair, he only banged her when she was 9. He took many sex slaves, but they weren't sex slaves. It's, they were owned by his right hand, possessed by his right hand, where he could take as many women to be his chattel as he wanted. That's part of Islam, right? That's part of the spoils of war. That's a big way that they recruited a lot of men. That's why it grows so fast in prison. Did you know that? Fact check, true. He was a pedophile.
But he was kind.
Right. Islam terroristic. Well, 198 million Muslims support violence against civilian targets to defend Islam. That comes from Pew. 198 million Muslims. 2026, over 760 Islamic attacks or Islamic-inspired attacks globally. That includes attacks within this last year, like the Bondi Beach attack, Hanukkah, the Austin bar shooting, the Michigan synagogue, the ramming attack, the Old Dominion University shooting, the London stabbing attacks, all of that, and supported by only 198 million Muslims worldwide. And you know what? Here's the thing. Would anyone be offended if a woman, let's say this was a video, let's assume we could travel in time and take an iPhone or Android for those, what do you say, iPhone? Back to Waco, saying, you know what? You guys say, we don't want you out here with all of your wives and all the crazy shit that you do. Mm-hmm. Or if someone said it about People's Temple, Jonestown. Or the Rajneeshis, the OSHA, the Bhagwan, the Indian weird sex cult that was out there in Oregon. Or, Scientology. Would anyone be mad if someone said, you know what? Hey, look, we don't want your kind, right? Scientology, we don't like the way that you control people. We don't like the hit jobs that you put out. We don't like what it is that you're doing, and we don't want you here. This is a Christian country, and we're not going to tolerate it. Take any other cult that we don't tolerate, and most of the time, the ones that you're completely free to criticize usually involve multiple brides, Islam, usually involve the condoning of pedophilia, Islam, usually involve any cults that would inflict violence, Islam. We look at Jonestown, how could they get all those people to kill themselves? I don't know. Now do the hundreds of thousands, if not millions historically, who've killed themselves in the name of jihad. The only difference between Islam and these other cults that we do not tolerate and are free to criticize is that there are too many followers, so people are intimidated. Let's be real about it.
I mean, there's sex out there that we do tolerate that I would still say no one would be offended. Like if she was yelling at a Mennonite.
Sure.
Hey, why are you wearing those long dresses and rollerblades? What's up with that?
Right. She could be at a Sonic.
Why? Yeah, why don't your sisters live with your husband? What's up with that?
Right.
No one would be offended.
Right. Or someone said
they're afraid. Islamophobia. You're not allowed to be afraid, but you have to be afraid.
Right. Or let's just say one of the Mormon offshoots, and I know this is not mainstream Mormonism today, but obviously Mormons, you're just as upset about these people as that still practice bigamy. Would have said, hey, don't come in here with all your sister wives. I don't want to have to tell my daughter why you're walking in with 15 wives. We don't do that. We don't allow that here in this country. And if you can't respect our laws, you shouldn't be here. You certainly shouldn't be at Target or Walmart. You understand? People go, sure, fine. Right? It's open season on Mormons culturally. And the most that they do is maybe annoy you where there's someone in a middle management shirt with a tie and a bicycle. I'm not Mormon. I'm never going to convert. I'm never going to become Mormon. But you know what? Fine, cool. I'm not worried about them hurting me.
Right.
You go to the Mormon sects where there's I'm amazed that it's still allowed to exist that way because we have laws in this country. For some reason, though, people turn a blind eye. Tell me the difference. Comment below between the sects, between the cults that we don't tolerate, that you are free to criticize and no one will bat an eye, and Islam.
I'd really like to know what set this off, though. She didn't just walk by and start.
Yeah, there's got to be something,
ranting.
right?
Yeah.
You don't just walk up and start doing that for no reason.
It was more than a hijab. There was some.
And the camera was out, ready to go. Something had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, she made the switch where she went for it. She said, okay, it's on. I'm just going to say it. You know?
Or she could have just been frustrated. I went with the kids, to example, for a water park. There was a group of about, 3 or 4 or 5 Islamic women in their full, not the burqa that covers their face, but the full hijab.
Mm-hmm.
And they were blocking the way to get down to the lazy river because they were having to adjust their clothes, so they don't drown. And my
In
kids
the
like,
lazy river?
why are they wearing that? And I just have to go like this because they worship a false god whose prophet is a pedophile. Like, how am I going to explain it to a 4-year-old?
Well, they had other questions about other cultures that, 13, 14 still wore life vests. And
Yeah.
couldn't swim.
Yeah, we don't need to be tolerant of everything. Remember, they were looking at and there was a kid who had that disorder. This happened this weekend, where their eyes are very bulging.
Okay,
that was great. By the way, I meant to tell you about that.
Well,
your comment to them about.
Well, they were staring because it was very. It looked like
It's
kind of
different.
halfway through Total Recall. It was very weird to the kids. They'd never seen anything like that, and they were looking. And I said, "Hey," I said, "Are you looking at that boy?" Right? They said, "Yeah." I said, "Why does he look like that?" I said, "Well, because sometimes you get sick and you have to take some medicine. Well, he had something that made him sick, and that's the way he looks. But obviously he's better. He's here. He's at the water park, and it's rude to stare. It hurts people's feelings because, just like with the rash that you had, if that was everywhere and people kept looking, you probably wouldn't feel so good. So." Don't stare. That might hurt his feelings. And if he comes up, you can go up to him and say, "Hey, how are you?" and make a friend because he's just like you. He just looks different because sometimes people need help from doctors. I said, "Okay." Yeah. That's how you. Now, it's not the same as far as
great.
Why does that man have 19 wives and why are they dressed like ninjas? Because they worship a false god.
Tougher conversation to have for sure.
I would not say go up and make friends. I would not.
No.
You know why? Because they're going to try and convert your kid to a false religion with a false prophet.
Are water slides halal? Are they allowed? No.
Not the ones we were riding.
All fun, strictly
I
prohibited.
can't
over
tell
there.
you how many weaves were lost on the tube go round.
I don't know, but the chicken at Costco is now marked with officially halal safe.
Ah,
So that's good for everyone.
Yeah.
That's good.
as long as the price stays the same, I don't
Yeah.
really care. But I kind of do. Just take it off there. So you guys let me know. And her Give, Send, Go. Go support her. We'll probably have some more context. Maybe it'll make it better. Maybe it'll make it worse. I don't care. Anyone here who says they haven't been thinking something like this at some point, you are being dishonest. And that includes those on the left, by the way. You're not being honest. You're not being honest. And tolerating this, just if you want to know where it goes, look to any Islamic country across the globe or any Islamic country in the history of the world. If they got it right and they seemed pretty civil for a little bit of time, just give it a decade or two. Like, hey, Iran, they wore bikinis and it's gone. Hey, Egypt, it's everything's going to, or Turkey and Erdogan. It doesn't last. It never lasts. It can't because of the founder of the feast, Muhammad. Very varied. And on the flip side, any culture that loses their way and returns to Christ, they'll get it right. Isn't that wonderful?
And it's not because they want a seat at the table of government or they want to outbirth you.
No.
They hurt people.
Right.
And we have to talk about that. They hurt people.
Yeah.
That is their MO.
Yes.
198 million?
198 million Muslims support violence against civilian targets.
You know that's all the standing armies in the world?
Yeah.
If you take them all together, 10% of that.
Yep.
20 million.
10% of that.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's,
Why are you
that's
scared,
2/3 the American
Stephen?
population.
Why are you scared, Stephen?
Yeah, exactly.
And every country that they mentioned, the percentage is going up. The rape stats, the violence, it's incredible. We talk about it daily.
Yeah. How do you deal with
Seat
it? You
at
don't.
the table.
You don't.
Come
you
on.
convert them from the religion or you keep them away from people who don't practice it. That's how this goes. That's the only way that you survive. If you want any other, you cannot coexist. The other ones can't, all the other ones, by the way, all of them, even the ones that are silly and I don't like, right? I'm a Christian. I think most of them are useless shit, as you do if you're a Christian, but none of them, they all share one thing in common. They cannot survive in the face of Islam if they tolerate it. Not one. When there's one religion that has violence codified into it, that's the primary difference.
Yes.
What bothers you about Jews? Liberal movies, taxes, and AIPAC. I get it. There is only one religion in that coexist that is called to kill all the other letters. So the way to deal with it is convert. You reject it if you're going to come and live with all the other religions here. Even if I don't believe in them, they can be tolerated. This one can't. And this brings me to the next segment that I wanted to discuss. I think a lot of people are very unappreciative today. A lot of perhaps young Gen Z folks of how bad things got. I'd say it was really bad kind of that last term of Obama all the way up to and through the first year of COVID. It kind of came back with a vengeance under Biden because Obama, I repeat myself, wokeness, peak wokeness, like Cuties on Netflix, Dear White People. Do you remember actually when people say, nothing's better, everything's the same? Do you remember how bad woke was? And if many of you, as I suspect, have forgotten, it's time for a new segment that we're going to be doing with great regularity. Remember woke?
Is this the best a man can get?
Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on Black communities.
And today, I just every now and then go back and I go, oh, wait, that's right. People that are trying to push this. Here's Tom Hardy, great actor, and it really was disappointing. I know he does jujitsu, seems like a decent guy. Came across a clip. He was detailing how he did the Bane voice. And then I go, wait, I had to rewind it. He unironically used the term, you may have forgotten it, Latinx. Remember that?
How did Tom Hardy do the Bane voice?
Bane quintessentially is Latinx in origin of a character, and I am not. So I looked at the concept of Latin.
What was he doing in his shirt? What was he fumbling around? These guys.
He's of Latinx descent. I'm not. I'm fine with, appropriation, but right. I got to get the language right.
So I decided to go with Sean Connery meets Romanian gypsy.
At no point did I watch that movie and think, it's Julio.
Right, yeah.
No.
Latinx, I use it because it's a gender-neutral term, so that really inspired... You see the connection?
Nothing even close.
By the way, less than 4% of Latinas use Latinx. 75%, last time they polled, said it should not be used. It should not be used.
Not that they don't use it.
It should
don't
not
use it.
Yeah. These are people that don't speak other Romance languages. They don't understand gender.
They screwed up. This was pushed by white liberals. And there were some Hispanics. Sure, you found a few token Hispanics you found a few fat Latinas who could bitch about, don't fetishize us. Yeah, because no one is. So they thrust it. Think about the Romance languages. You tried to push this on a language that is unbelievably gendered grammatically,
yes.
Right? Any of the any of the Romance languages, and then with a deeply Catholic people, you couldn't have gotten this more wrong. Here's an interview to Eva Longoria, though, in Holland film. This is how bad woke got.
If you live in Alabama in a town that does not have a Latino, you are educated by movies. But what's even more damaging is it educates our community about who we are. So if our young Latinos and Latinas and Latinx people only see that representation on screen, then they will aspire to only be so much. I don't know a lot about Latinx House, but it's amazing. So I'm not the person to talk on it. There's a space being created where they're bringing in speakers, and Latinx just hosted the CHC who came into town.
But when's the last time you heard Latinx used? Ever. They really tried to push it. I did a video where I actually went through drive-through and just asked people, like, Latinx? And they're like, no, wait, I don't use it.
I wish it was a term that we use for, Black Twitter.
Yeah.
I wish it was like it's Hispanic Twitter, like Latinx.
Yeah, Latinx.
I just hear the term and I think of Hank Azaria as the pool boy.
Yes. You forgot the shrimps.
I don't like the juice.
The funny thing is you can see them talking and you can see them stumbling. I don't Latinx, and then later on he goes, Latin people. You can see them tripping because it's a new term that's made up. Nobody asked for it. It's not necessary. It was a way of trying to control you through controlling your language, including making shit up. Here's another one. America Ferrera, ironically named America. She questions here in this clip what the line between being Latino, Latinx, being American is. And again, used it unironically. None of these people are saying this now anyways. And if they are, they do it quietly.
While every young Latino, Latinx's experience is quite different, what I think is the common thread when you're a Latin American.
That guy just heard it for the first time.
Is that you're sort of you're charged with this question of, are you an American or are you a Latina, and what is the line, and how much of you is this and how much of you is that?
And talking of Latinx, why are you dressed like a prisoner trying to escape with a spotlight in 1920s? You are like the Hamburglar. Don't steal my burgers! I pay for them with my own money!
Why are you dressed like Thursday Adams?
That's right.
Or a Navy sailor in France.
That's right. I don't understand.
If you're a mime, why are you talking?
Yes. Also, we know that since you do the show Ugly Betty, you have put on some weight. Maybe don't wear the horizontal stripe. Speaking of which, if you want to get in better shape, I forgot. Yeah, we did just launch this today at foundationdaily.com. Creatine, the most researched supplement of all time.
Turn that label.
What are you talking about? Is it not right?
Turn other way. Go.
There you go.
There it is.
Wonderful. There you go. And a lot of creatine. It's become a real trend. We've been using it, for 20 some. I've been using it for 20 plus years. It's one of the most researched supplements of all time. It'll help you in the gym, be stronger. You put on some muscle. You'll retain some intracellular water in your muscles, not like bloat water. And it's really good actually too for your brain, particularly in sleep deprived states, the elderly, or those with neurodegenerative disorders. We put all of the research, all the published research right there, foundationdaily.com. And a lot of people have just bought up creatine to make gummies and to sell it as a new supplement. It's been around forever. Just get the powder, put it in a drink. This stuff blends right away. It's 100% Creavitalis, which is actually from one place in Germany, so you know you're getting exactly what's on the label. Straightforward.